Hello everyone and welcome to week 8. So if you go into Blackboard, course content week 8, you're going to see the video. This lecture video is going to be up top, and then the PowerPoint that we're going to go over in this lecture is right underneath it, and then the quiz that you're going to take is right underneath that, and then there's a folder for journal prompts, which we're going to talk about that in just a second. But let's look at what all is due this week. So we are in week 8. So the quiz on thesis statements and topic sentences is due by 11:59 on Saturday, October 17th. Your journal number 4 is due by 11:59 on Saturday, October 17th. It says via email, but it'll be on Blackboard. You'll also see that we have our first one-on-one conferences this week. So grades are due by Wednesday, which means I'm going to have your narrative essays graded by Wednesday. And then after I submit those grades, I am going to, it'll go through the system, and then your midterm grade will be on your portal for all of your classes. But I am going to have a one-on-one conference with you about your midterm grade, and I will send out a sign-up sheet for you to sign up for certain times and methods of how you want to meet to chat with me about your grade and how you're doing in this class and things of that nature. And it is for a homework grade, so these conferences are only going to take like 10 minutes-ish, so it's going to be an easy 100 on a homework grade to just, talk on the phone or Zoom or whatever with me for like 10 minutes about your grade, and then you're done. You get a free 100 points towards your homework grade. So let's look at your journal prompt, because we know this quiz is due by Saturday, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's look at your journal prompt. So, okay, I've got all of this here. So, it's October. It's officially spooky season. I love October and Halloween. I have already shared with you, I was drinking a pumpkin cream cold brew during one of my earlier lecture videos. You already know I love some pumpkin flavored coffee. That's the basic, girl in me. But what I haven't mentioned is that I love all things horror. I love horror movies, horror books, short stories, short films that they have on YouTube. Love all of that stuff. So part of the horror that I love is urban legends. And so we've all heard some type of urban legend. Like the one about how if you flash your lights at a car with their car off at night, they'll turn around and chase you down and cause you to wreck as part of a gang initiation. Or how if you eat Pop Rocks and drink a Coke, then your stomach's going to explode. Or about the old lady who put her dog in the microwave to dry it. Just all kinds of urban legends like that. So this week, your journal is that I want you to tell me about your favorite or the spookiest or the urban legend that you've heard the most. I want you to tell me about that. Or you can tell me about a paranormal experience you've had. If you live in Central Arkansas, if you've been to Hot Springs, Eureka Springs, both of those are said to have a lot of paranormal activity. So if you've experienced any of that, you can feel free to tell me about that as well. Just make sure your journal is 21 lines and is double spaced. I will say that, not all urban legends are true. In fact, most of them are not. But generally, urban legends are considered folklore, which there's usually a grain of truth somewhere hidden in those stories. So that's part of the reason that I enjoy them, and they're just kind of creepy and spooky. So that's what I want from y'all this week. Just tell me about your favorite or the spookiest urban legend you've ever heard, or the urban legend that you hear about the most, or a paranormal experience that you've had. And to be clear, I totally believe in the paranormal. I fully believe that whole thing exists, ghosts, spirits, what have you. I totally believe it. It's October. We're getting into the spooky. Getting into it. So that's due by 11:59 on Saturday, October 17th as well. And here's the submission link for that. So let's talk about thesis statements and topic sentences. So we didn't talk about topic sentences last essay because narrative essays don't really have thesis statements or topic sentences because they're not really. A thesis statement is argumentative, and narrative essays aren't necessarily argumentative. They're just a story, and not all stories have an argument or a moral or what have you. Some do, like Aesop's fables, the tortoise and the hare and all of that. But for the most part, some stories are just stories. They don't have topic sentences and thesis statements. So let's talk about what is a thesis statement. So a thesis statement is a sentence, one sentence in your introduction in which you make the purpose, scope, and direction of your essay clear to the reader. It's usually best to put the thesis statement at the end of the introduction. So your introduction is going to be kind of like giving some background information on your topic, whatever it is. And at the end, your last sentence, you say, boom, here's what I'm going to be talking about. You don't say, here's what I'm going to be talking about. Don't break the fourth wall. Don't talk to your reader. But you just explicitly say what you're going to be talking about in your essay. So what a thesis statement is not is it is never a question. Never, ever, ever. Never is your thesis statement a question. You should not have a question in formal essays, period, point blank. Okay? It should never take up the entire introduction. It's one sentence. And a thesis statement is always arguable. It is never a statement of fact. So we couldn't say, this might be a controversial statement, but our thesis statement couldn't be, the earth is round, because that's fact. We know that the earth is round. We can't argue that. Our thesis statement could be something like, Nicolas Cage is the best actor. That could be a thesis statement because that's arguable. I'm sure lots of people don't think that Nicolas Cage is the best actor ever. So there's two types of thesis statements. There's the listing thesis statement, and then there's the main idea thesis statement. So the listing thesis statement, it essentially takes your topic and breaks it down. So if we're writing a process essay, which is basically just a how-to essay about baking a chocolate cake, a listing thesis statement would be, baking a chocolate cake is easy if the baker follows the simple steps of gathering the ingredients, preparing, and adding the finishing touches. So that tells us exactly what our paragraphs are going to be about. They're going to be about gathering the ingredients for a chocolate cake, preparing the chocolate cake, and adding the finishing touches of the chocolate cake. A main idea thesis statement for the same essay would be, baking a chocolate cake is easy if the baker follows a few simple steps. Still the same, one is just more specific than the other one. So a good main idea thesis statement for a compare and contrast essay about college versus high school is, college and high school classes differ in many ways. A listing thesis statement for the same topic could be, college and high school classes differ in the types of instruction, the difficulty, and the time required for the class. Okay? For an argumentative essay, children between the ages of 2 and 4 should attend daycare for social, academic, and health reasons. That's the listing thesis. A good main idea thesis statement would be, children between the ages of 2 and 4 should attend daycare for several reasons. So the main idea is just, it's more vague, it's more open, it gives you more room to talk about several different kinds of things, whereas the listing thesis statement is very specific. It says, okay, here, essay 1 is going to be about this, paragraph 1 is going to be about this, paragraph 2 is going to be about this, and paragraph 3 is going to be about this. And if it is not in your thesis statement, it can't go in your essay. So the listing thesis statement really sort of boxes you in and says these are the only things that you can talk about. So generally, I like the main idea thesis statements, but both of these are really good formats for writing a thesis statement. Okay, and remember that the thesis statement just tells me the purpose of your essay. It tells me what your essay is going to be about. That's all a thesis statement does. So, moving on to topic sentences. A topic sentence is a sentence at the beginning of each body paragraph that states the point you will discuss in the paragraph. Each point listed in your topic sentences and discussed in your body paragraph should support your thesis statement. So, basically, a topic sentence is like a little mini thesis statement of every paragraph. So, you're going to have your introduction where you tell me what your essay is going to be about, and then you're going to go in depth in the body paragraphs. And at the beginning of each body paragraph, you're essentially going to have a sentence that says, this is what this body paragraph is about. You're not going to say that, but you're just going to say, let's see. Hang on. So if our thesis statement is baking a chocolate cake is easy if the baker follows a few simple steps. So example topic sentence for the first paragraph is, the first step in baking a cake is to gather the supplies. Second paragraph, the second step in baking the cake is to prepare the ingredients for baking. The final step in baking the cake is to add the final touches. So in the first paragraph, we're going to be talking about what? Gathering the supplies. We're going to talk about going to Kroger and getting the eggs and the milk and the flour or the box of cake mix, whichever. And in the second body paragraph, we're going to talk about preparing the ingredients for baking. So we're going to talk about mixing our wet ingredients and then our dry ingredients and then mixing those together and pouring it into a cake pan and all of that. And in the last body paragraph, we're going to talk about, putting icing on the cake, decorating it, all that kind of stuff. So that's how your topic sentences should work. So it's just a sentence that alerts your reader to the topic that will be explored within in the paragraph. It's exactly how it sounds, y'all. It's one sentence that conveys the main idea or the topic that the entire paragraph will be about. And it's important to do this in just one sentence, and it's the first sentence of your paragraph. So that is what topic sentences and thesis statements are. So now you're ready to go take your little thesis statements and topic sentences quiz. You're ready to do your journal prompt number 4. I think that's it for this week. Yeah. Later this week in an email, I'll send out instructions on how to sign up for one-on-one conferences with me, again, to chat about your grade and whatnot. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, any of that stuff, feel free to email me, text me. I do prefer always that you text me rather than call me because often I cannot answer my phone, but I can send you a text back. So text me, email me, whatever you need to do to get in touch with me about questions that you may have, do so. And that's it. So I look forward to reading your finished narrative essays, and I also look forward to reading your journal number 4s. Okay? All right, y'all. Have a good week. I'm sure I will talk to each and every one of you soon.